Hi everyone. Um, I thought it's easier to reply to all of these questions by video because, yeah, sometimes you can't get across what you want to say properly writing, which is strange because I wrote a book. But yeah, first of all, very cool questions. Thank you for well thought out and intuitive questions, which is kind of a break from the usual kind of banal, generic questions I'm asked. Um, and thanks for reading my book in your class. I was quite surprised and honored. uh, so I guess I'll just tick off the list one by one, according to the order that Andrew sent me the questions in. I'm just reading them off my screen right now. Number one, you say that my lack of attachment to any particular culture, location, or possession has given me the freedom to question and explore outside the usual constraints of familial, religious, or social expectations. Our question is, how does a nomadic person like yourself react, adjust to reaching a destination which is implied in attaining a goal, like finishing a race? Yeah, well, because it's never about the destination anyway. It's always about the journey. So it can be anticlimactic in one sense, but in another, when you've been weeks, or in the case of cycling the world, months without sleeping in a proper bed and eating service station food and just being exhausted physically and mentally. The first, I'd say, week after, everything is wonderful. It's just being able to sit and enjoy a beer or eat a good meal or just sleep in your own bed is nothing better in the world. It's like all the little things that you take for granted, the simple pleasures are, you know, everything you eat is the best thing you've tasted since you can ever remember. So, in that sense, it's reaching the destination is a kind of a relief in one way. But then if you're someone like me, you're just already before I arrive, I'm already planning what the next thing I want to do. So it's a kind of a continuous thing. And I don't see one journey as being a grand finale. I see it as just a continuous journey. I think life is a journey, and every experience is part of that journey. So each race or each ride I do is just a small part of a continuous progression, which hopefully will continue my entire life. So when I came back from cycling the world, I definitely had a low, and that was the first time it ever happened because your hormones are actually adjusting. You have so many endorphins from cycling every single day and being on the road and having new experiences, and your brain is constantly having, sensation overload. So you kind of go into reverse, and that's what starts the depression, which a lot of explorers and athletes experience. And so when it happened the first time, it was quite a low for a few weeks. And then once I understood what it was that was happening, I was much more able to cope or adapt with that the next times around. So it doesn't bother me so much anymore at all, actually. I'm usually just content to be and do nothing for a while, and then then kick into my next whatever experience or adventure or challenge it is that I want to do. Also, do you feel free or lost? To be honest, I feel powerful. At the end of accomplishing a goal as big as, a race or a ride around the world, or any big challenge that you take on, when you've done it, it's you just feel like you can do anything, and you feel strong. I think that's the height of when I feel most on top of the world, mentally and physically. Finally, if you do feel a sense of disorientation when reaching the finish line, why race? Why not just ride intentionally? Well, this might be one reason why I don't do traditional racing. I could not, for the life of me, be in a peloton with a bunch of sweaty, shaved-legged cyclists, just huffing up a hill together. I just can't do that. It's to me so pointless. For me, I do the unsupported adventure racing because for me it's about the adventure more than about the race. And I don't really feel a sense of competition in that I need to beat the other cyclists. It's more a competition with myself, because every time I do one of these rides, I take it a little farther. I try and push my limits a little farther. So it's more about how much further can I take it this time, and what else am I capable of. So it is riding intentionally, actually, and the racing side of it is just an aspect. But, you know, it just puts a little bit of fire under your ass, if I might be so blunt, racing-wise. But it's more of a race against myself than anything else. So I would say it's a mix of riding intentionally and racing. And no, I don't feel disorientation reaching the finish line. Like I said, I feel, first off, relief that I can finally sleep. And then, you know, you feel very empowered at the end of one of these rides, and it becomes quite addicting, actually, which I kind of had to keep doing it because you get such a high. Obviously, when you first arrive, you're completely dead and you can't think of anything except just like crawling under the nearest shady tree and sleeping for a week. But yeah, once you've slept, you feel great. And then you're like, oh, what else can I do? I want to do something else. And you don't realize that you actually need to rest and calm down. And then you get you get the after effects, obviously, of just feeling like, but yeah. So that's the answer to question 1. And I'm going to make a new video for each question because otherwise it's going to be too long to send. Cool.